Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel once again, and today we're going to be making another quick video. Today's date is August the 6th, and we're going to be going over each swing state and seeing which polls are polling each way for each candidate, Harris and Trump. Now, we are going to start off with Trump's safe states, but before I get to that, just if you are liking this kind of content, please like and subscribe just to show your support, but we are going to jump right back into the video. Starting out with Trump's states, these are the states that he won in 2016 and in 2020 by big margins, and I just see no possible way of Harris winning these states at all this year. These are the states that currently have Trump up by more than 10 points in the polling, and as you can see, these are all going to be Trump's very safe states. Now, I am going to give Trump Iowa, Ohio, and Florida and Texas just because the polling isn't quite to 10 points yet. But again, he won these states in 2016 and in 2020, even in his rough year. And I think this year, even though the polling underestimates Trump in all four of these states, he will pull him off to safe margins again. And starting with Kamala Harris's safe states, these are the states that not only she's going to win, but that Democrats are going to win in general. Colorado could be a little close. I'll mark it as a little likely instead of safe just because I don't think it's going to get to 10 points quite yet. Same with New Jersey. It could be a little close. We'll just have to tell by the little polling because the polling came out of there showing Trump was up by one a long time ago, but now it is starting to turn back to the Democrats. Now, these are going to be the states that Kamala Harris is going to win for sure, and I just see no possible way of Trump winning anywhere near these states this year. Now, here are going to be your swing state. I did forget to mark Maine's 1st district. This will also go towards the Democrats, but these are all going to be your swing states this year. Starting out west in Nevada, we can tell that even though the latest poll does show them tied, we can kind of base it off the other recent polls. You can see that Trump has the more leads in all the other polls, and we will give this to Trump by not a tilt, but more of a likely lean situation here. And if we come down to Arizona with 11 electoral votes, we can see Trump does have the lead in Arizona. And with the most recent poll, it does show Harris up by one. Now, again, I would base it off the other polls again, but we are taking the most recent poll, and this does show Harris leading by one, even if you factor in Kennedy. So we will mark Arizona as a tilt margin for the Democratic Party. And if we come over to New Mexico with 5 electoral votes, we can see in New Mexico there was a very recent poll that came out finally. All the last ones did not have Harris at all, but we can see the Telegraph did do a poll between Harris and Trump showing Harris leading by 7. So that will not make the state safe, but it will make it likely just like Colorado. And if we come over to Georgia with 16 electoral votes, Joe Biden did win the state in 2020, so that does give Kamala a little hope. But again, I personally think since he barely won it in 2020 and Trump has the lead right now, I think Trump will win this state. You could see Donald Trump is up by 2 in the most recent poll, making the state not a tilt, but more of a lean for the Republicans. And if we come over to North Carolina with 16 electoral votes, same as Georgia, Trump did win this state both times in both of his elections. You can see it is very close, but Trump does have the lead by 3 points in this state. That will make the state, just like Georgia, more of a lean likely for Donald Trump to win. And if we come a little ways up to Virginia with 13 electoral votes, I personally believe this will be the closest state this year. And as you can see, in the most recent poll, Trump does have the lead. And if we type in Harris, we can see these are the most recent polls that show Kamala Harris, and every single one of them has Donald Trump up by either from 1 to 4 points. So that will make the state, honestly, like Georgia and North Carolina, more of a lean margin for Donald Trump. And if we come up to Pennsylvania, another critical battleground state, we can see Kamala Harris has took the lead in this state. She was very close back in August 1st, but now she is starting to kind of pull away, and it's kind of going down, it looks like, honestly. But we can see in the most recent poll, Trump does have the lead by 2 points. As you can see, this state is going to go just like the rest of the East Coast, more of a lean for Donald Trump. And if we come up to New Hampshire with its 4 electoral votes, another very small but critical battleground state. This will be very interesting to watch. You can see Trump did have the lead earlier in this year, but again, Kamala has kind of took the lead back with the most recent polls by 6 or 5 points, making that state more of a not safe but likely state for Kamala Harris. And if we come over to Michigan, we can see the whole Rust Belt usually votes the same, so we're going to have to see how that plays out. But if we go to Michigan, we can see Kamala Harris does have the lead. It was kind of tied earlier in this year, but she is starting to pull off, it looks like, in Michigan. and you can see in the most recent poll, it does show Donald Trump up by 1 point. And that will make the state of Michigan, not like Pennsylvania with its lean margin, anywhere from 2 to 4 points, but anywhere about around 1 point. That'll give it a tilt margin for Donald Trump. And if we come over to Wisconsin, we can see Kamala Harris has took the lead just like Pennsylvania and Michigan. She is up by 1.5 points, but in the most recent poll, it does show them both even tied. They are dead even. So we're going to have to base it off, just like we did in Nevada, we're going to have to base it off the last couple of polls. We can see in this last poll, Kamala Harris was winning by 2. Trump was winning in these other polls. It does look like there are more Kamala Harris victories than Donald Trump, so we will tilt this state more to the Democratic Party, which is very interesting because usually the state votes very alike. We're just going to have to see more polling come out of this state, but as you can see, each different state has its own way of voting, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And if we come over to Minnesota, we can see with its 10 electoral votes that even though Kamala Harris did pick her vice president, he is from Minnesota, Tim Walz. We'll have to see how that plays out. Usually the vice president pick really doesn't make a huge difference, but it maybe could possibly secure her vote even maybe by 1 or 2 more points in Minnesota. We'll have to see by the recent polling. As you can see, Kamala Harris is up by 5 points in this state. I don't personally think she will win it by 10 points like this poll show, but anywhere from 5 to 8 points based on the last couple elections. So that will make the state more of a likely win for Kamala Harris. And lastly, if we come to our districts, we can see we have Nebraska's 2nd district and the overall general election in Maine. Now, if we start with Maine, Maine is a more of a left trending state. It usually goes to the left more and more every year. So just to be safe, we will give that to Kamala Harris. And same with Nebraska's 2nd district. Donald Trump did win it in 2016, but I'll give it to Kamala Harris by a lean margin just because a lot of college voters are currently in that district. And as you can see, this is what the overall current map looks like of today's polling. Donald Trump has 304 electoral votes. And if we go to Kamala Harris, she has 234 electoral votes, making Donald Trump the winner of the map.